you could tell by the video, groups are an important part of any aspect of life. Not only did they help the little crabs get away from the seagull, but they also help in the workplace. So today we are going to discuss the benefits of group work, the need for group work, and also the best practices and some pitfalls to avoid. So first things first, some of the benefits of group work that we will be discussing. Now, the first one is employee commitment. Then we will later talk about job satisfaction. And then after that, we will discuss the benefits of team problem solving. So the first thing we will discuss is that shared values equals shared commitment. Now this was discussed in an article by Baba Romsky in 1990 entitled Employee Investment and Commitment, the Ties That Bond. Now in this article, she discusses that when someone has the same values as the company they are working for or the group that they're working with, then they are more likely to stay committed to that group, because not only are they getting to know the people around them, but they're getting to know them on a deeper level than just work-based, because they also have the same values. And when you have the same values that are instilled in you, it's easier to get along with people and easier to work with people because you're both working toward the same things. Now, there's also this word called accountability. Now, in that, this is also discussed by Stefan Naus in 1979 in an article entitled Toward a Psychological Theory of Accountability. And he discusses that accountability equals liability and responsibility. So when most people think of the word accountability, they think of liability and responsibility. Now in this, he quotes, responsibility implies feeling duty, reliability, trust, and importance. So when someone is accountable to a group, that means they feel the responsibility toward the group. As it states, they feel a duty toward the group. They feel that they have a responsibility that needs to be upheld. And because of that, it means that they're going to stay more committed because they feel responsible for what they're doing. The next thing is job satisfaction. Now in this, these were all things that were discussed in The Power and Promise of Group Work by Shauna Razul and Eleanor Ross in 2017. So during this, she states that the main benefits that were found in all groups, now this was just a study that they did about groups, but in this they said that gaining support and friendship, and then acquiring confidence and learning new skills. So if we walk through those step by step, we can find that gaining support and friendship, when people gain support and friendship by the people that are around them, they are more likely to not only enjoy the work that they're doing, but they will also gain that support system, whether it not be just in work, but in outside things. You know, many of employees become friends, and that is just something that is not only a benefit in the workplace, but a benefit outside of the workplace. The next thing is acquiring confidence. When they have so many different resources and people around them, then they are able to build off of those resources, and it helps them gain confidence because not only do they know what they were working on, but they also have now acquired the knowledge that everyone else is working on. And when you have that support system and you have the new knowledge, it helps to build your confidence, which can also help the company, because when you have confident employees, they are then going to work to the best of their ability, and they will also be working to the best of their ability because they are confident in what they will be sharing. Now the next thing that I touched on a little bit is learning new skills. And when people learn new skills, not only do they have the knowledge that they came with before, but now they have all of these new skills, which create well-rounded employees, which then relate to a well-rounded company. The last thing we'll talk about is the benefits of problem solving. Now this is a quote from Team-Based Complex Problem Solving, A Collective Cognitive Perspective by Wu Hung in 2013. And in this he says, the scale and the complexity of the most real-life problems today are beyond one person's ability and capabilities. And that could not be more true. One person is not the expert in every subject. One person does not have the ability to do everything that is needed from a company. But when you work in a group, you are able to build upon each other's strengths and build upon each other's knowledge. And because of that, you are able to accomplish more than what that one person could, and you will be able to accomplish it more efficiently.
Alright, for my part of the presentation, I did the need. Why do we need work groups? Work groups are going to improve the organization of the company, and through that are going to increase productivity and present the company with better efficiency. Just like in the medical field. In the medical field, when you go to your family doctor with a problem. Say you have a broken arm. That doctor is going to evaluate your broken arm and send you to the appropriate field of specialization or the proper work group that you need to go to for proper, efficient treatment. You'd be sent to an x-ray doctor and get an x-ray done, maybe an arm specialist, but you wouldn't go to the cardiologist who specializes in hearts, because that would be a waste of time for the patient and the doctor. It's going to increase productivity because through that specialization, you can get more stuff done in less amount of time, because each task goes past less people, fewer desks throughout the process.
Now, the next thing we are going to talk about are some best practices. And throughout this section, we will talk about virtual teams, communication, and decision-making procedures. Now, first things first. So when we talk about virtual teams, basically this is being able to work from technology, from home, from wherever in the world you may desire. So when you think about this, imagine sitting on the beach, relaxing, and also doing work. A great scenery, good ideas are flowing because you're being creative and you're in an element where you're happy. Now, because of this, if you work in virtual teams, you have flexible times. So you don't have to do the 9-to-5 normal working job, but you are able to go and work whenever you want, from wherever you want. And this also leads to more productivity because, as I said, employees are happier. They're happy where they are. They get to spend time with their family, and that is such an important part. And lastly, companies do not pay for the physical location. So, you don't have to rent out a workspace for everyone. You could rent out one local smaller meeting space where people could come and collaborate, but for the most part, you don't have to create a giant building that costs you thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars, because employees are able to work from wherever they want, and they provide that, not the employer. Next is communication in small groups. Because it is a smaller group, it's kind of like your little friend group. You know everyone well, you get to know each other better, not just in a work setting, but you get to know about them, which creates a form of camaraderie because you're all working together on this and you're all supportive of each other and you get to know each other. And so the communication is very comfortable with sharing ideas and everything, especially when you get a group of employees that mesh well together and are able to build upon each other. And it also gives little time to get familiar with one another. So that could be seen as a downfall, but at the same time, like I said, yes, you're not meeting together all the time, but you also will meet virtually and get to talk to each other virtually. And what we did as a group is we came together every once in a while and met and got to know each other really well then. And so then when we were apart, we could understand people's experiences, we could build off of what we had heard from one another and realize each other's strengths. And lastly in this section is communication in virtual groups. So you are virtually working together. You are working from your laptop, you're working from your phone, you're working from your iPad. Anything virtual is what you will be working from. And so this means that, if you are in a remote location, you might not be able to get the technology you needed. So you would need to be in a place that had Wi-Fi or something that you could use to connect to the internet or virtually to your peers. But overall, there are not tons of places that do not have Wi-Fi anymore. And so it really gives a wide variety of options for people to go and work on their projects. And lastly is the decision-making procedures. So one that we really focused on and that a lot of groups focus on is brainstorming. So it's in a group setting, you're all bouncing ideas off of each other, and it's you hear one idea, then that person builds on that idea, and then that person builds on that idea, and it really gets things going. But that also doesn't leave a lot of time for people to just sit down and think of their ideas, and some ideas can get lost because of that. So when you have nominal group technique, it's individually based. So they kind of think of their own ideas, and then you can come together and share them later. But idea writing is also individually based, and that's where you sit down and write and then come back together. So you have everything written down that you need to know, and then you can come back together. But it's mostly individual based because you don't have that chance to bounce ideas off of each other all at once. And then you have the 6 thinking hats. So this is in a group setting, and you take one aspect of the project at a time. So you take one aspect, talk about it, discuss about it, then go to the next aspect, talk about it, discuss about it. And that really helps because it can be a solution or problem focus, and it just takes things step by step so everyone's not overwhelmed and just screaming at each other, yelling, bouncing ideas off of each other. So those are just some of the ways that really help to work in groups, either virtually or in person. They work for all different things.
Hello, my name is Andrea, and today I'm going to speak with you guys about some of the common pitfalls that are associated with group work. And I'm going to discuss with you different ways that you and your organization can overcome them. So the first pitfall that we're going to talk about is groupthink. Have you ever wanted to speak up in a group but you didn't want to appear to go against the views of your other members? This is considered groupthink. Groupthink is defined as the practice of thinking or making decisions as a group in a way that discourages creativity or individual responsibility. Groupthink threatens group performance, and it places a halt on the potential of a group. It places pressure on work groups to come to faulty decision making due to incomplete surveying of alternatives, poor searching of information, and the failure of detailing contingency plans. It's super important that your organization and your small groups find a way to overcome groupthink. According to Bernthal and Insko's 1997 study, groupthink symptoms are highest in groups where social emotional cohesion is high and task-oriented cohesion is low. There are several ways you can avoid groupthink. You should start by the way you recruit. When you're recruiting, you want to find members who have different backgrounds, very diverse members who come with different experiences, have different interests, and different ways of thinking. Alternate viewpoints of different people lead to the best results possible. You should encourage constructive conflict and debate within your group. This challenges your employees to find the best result possible. We'll discuss conflict a little bit later. And another way you and your group can avoid groupthink is by allowing time for independent evaluation. So prior to group meetings, let members think about major decisions that need to be made before coming all together. Groupthink must be prevented, and by following these easy ways, you and your group can do that. The second pitfall we're going to talk about is handling conflict. Now, all teams are naturally subject to conflict and contradictory tensions. It's always going to happen no matter what group you're in. Conflict should be used as a constructive tool rather than a destructive tool. It can improve performance and productivity. If there's no conflict, it's likely that a group is experiencing groupthink because no people are speaking up about things that they disagree on, or maybe they're different ideas in the group. Now, constructive conflict, it stems from a team that's coming together to redefine or strengthen their relationship for the betterment of all members involved. There's no winner or loser, and members must be aware of this. They must be aware that the entire group as a whole will either win or lose, but it's all together. There's one outcome, not several different outcomes. Constructive conflict allows groups to debate alternatives and come to the best decision for the entire group. Now, it should be mutually understood that both parties will win. And the group must acknowledge conflict. If you ignore conflict, that's a short-term solution rather than a long-term solution. It will come back around, or things will happen in the future. Conflict must be acknowledged, and members must be able to take a step back and kind of settle down if there's heavy tension in a group before they come back together. Each member should be given time to express their thoughts as well as listen to other members' thoughts, and they should come together to find a shared solution. The main goal when conflict arises is to achieve the best possible outcome for the group. Conflict should be used as a constructive tool so that the entire group. For the third and final issue that we're going to discuss today, we're going to discuss the problems that are associated with virtual teams. Virtual teams are becoming increasingly more prevalent as technology develops. The benefits of virtual teams include the flexibility of time, the freedom to travel, as well as a work-life balance. There are three major issues when it comes to virtual teams, including communication issues, differences between a diverse multicultural team, and a lack of clarity and direction. So when it comes to communication, the first issue, the best communication mode is face-to-face communication. Virtual groups must adapt to what is best for them, and they must be consistently communicating with each other. They should regularly update each other on their progress and their accomplishments. Now, the second issue with virtual teams are the issues between diverse virtual teams. Members should be aware that diverse teams bring superior results, and they must respect and embrace each other's differences. Members should look for commonalities between one another. Organizations can provide cultural diversity training, and each team member will be able to gain a better understanding of each other. Training reduces conflict based on cultural differences. It improves communication and enables strong cohesion. And for the final issue of virtual teams, we'll discuss the lack of clarity and direction. Leaders should make sure that members feel comfortable to reach out with any questions or clarity needs they may have. Members should be aware of what communication is best used when they have a question. The best form really is to call the leader or whoever may be in charge and ask them any questions and get the full clarity that they need.
So as you can tell from everything that we have discussed, from the short funny videos that really tied into what teamwork means and what group work means, to talking about the benefits of group work, the need for group work, and the different procedures you can use, and even some pitfalls and ways to avoid them, I hope you all are now able to see that group work is a great thing. Group work helps employees get together, it helps to bind them, to connect them, and it also helps the company because you are creating well-rounded individuals that have been building off each other and creating great ideas that really will help the company grow. And it's not just individually based, so all of your employees will not be stressed and they have each other to lean on to support, and overall the company benefits greatly from group work. Thank you.